Hi, everybody. Before we get to another great interview, the Too Opinionated podcast could really use your help. And it's easy, it's free. IMDb, which is the entertainment database, imdb.com, named us a top 100 podcast. We came in at number 82. That's a big deal because there's 15 million podcasts and growing. So to be named to anybody's top 100 list, pretty big deal for us. And the way you can help is to go to imdb.com, look up the Too Opinionated podcast, and that's it. Just bringing our page up. That traffic really helps us out. Our YouTube channel is MeisterCon Pod. All we ask is that you subscribe. It's also free, but that really helps us to attract these amazing guests that we keep bringing on the program. And that's it. 2 easy ways for you to support us, and we would really appreciate the help. Now let's get to that interview. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Too Opinionated. I'm so excited today. I've got actress Nora McLellan with me. So welcome, Nora.
Hey, thank you. Thanks for inviting me, Michael. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, I'm so happy to talk with you. I had Colton came on earlier this
Yes.
week, and he
Yes.
was terrific. And
Yes.
Sophia's coming on in 2 weeks.
Right. Yeah. I
It's
was
been
talking with
a
Sophie.
whole group of son of a Critch.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? I was just talking with Sophia's mom yesterday,
Yeah.
and I said that I was going to be doing this, and she said, "Oh yeah, Sophia's got an invitation."
Oh,
Colton,
good.
I mean, he's terrible, isn't he? Just
Oh,
terrible.
the
Uh,
worst.
yeah, no, none of us like him, and he's not a good actor, and he's an ugly child as well. I'm kidding. We love Colton so much.
Oh,
I'm so,
he's the best. I
yeah.
told him uh, he should try WKRP in Cincinnati, because I don't know if you know this one, but it was a sitcom from the
Oh,
80s.
I know it terribly well.
Yeah, yeah. Because I kind of think he's got a little bit of that. If you remember Andy that ran the station,
Gary Sandy, the actor Gary
yeah,
Sandy.
he kind of got a little bit of that.
Oh
He's
my
a little
gosh.
younger, but a little bit of that.
Yeah, of course. I hadn't even thought about
If
that. I'm
they
gonna have
wanted
to
to
look at.
like remake WKRP, there you go.
I got to tell you, that was one of the best sitcoms,
I loved it.
hands down. I mean, I
I
watched
got to
it.
talk with Lonnie Anderson a few years ago. You know,
Oh, bless
she
her.
passed, and she was still just wonderful, just lovely.
Yeah. No, I mean the Thanksgiving episode is
Well,
one for
that's
the
the one
ages,
I was telling him about.
and also the one with the funeral home where they
Yes,
make up the jingle. That's yeah, just fantastic.
I know, one of my favorite shows ever.
Yeah.
But yeah, they keep remaking stuff. I was like, well, if they remade that, I know somebody that makes a pretty good disc jockey.
That's a great idea. Great idea.
I told him he sounds really comfortable on the radio.
Yeah, well, the kids got it all. I mean, in fact, all of the I'm going to say younger actors on the show are so um I mean, they just arrived that way. There was
Yeah,
no having to teach them anything. Their personalities just shone through. They've always been incredibly disciplined, unlike some of us older actors. They know, when I'm on set with them, I make sure I'm down pat because they are so prepared, right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
they're
They're
just
talented.
also they're just lovely, lovely people. Like I can't tell you, watching them growing up and growing up with them has been a real delight.
Well, and they've grown so much.
Yes. Well, literally, Ben has. I mean, he's taller than anybody now.
Oh,
I
goodness.
told him, I think I told him when he was maybe 12 that if he got taller than me, I'd have to, kill him. And so he ducks, or he used to try to duck. Now he doesn't even try.
Oh my god.
Uh,
Well, he couldn't duck low enough now. He's so
no, no,
tall.
he couldn't. But
I
he's still the right age. That's the
well,
thing.
he is. And that's what happens at that age.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, I was
absolutely.
I'm a little guy. I'm like 5'9", but I grew 6 inches in one summer when I was about 12 years old, and then stopped. I haven't grown since. So,
Wow.
so I was
Wow.
like tall for one summer, and then
Yeah,
everybody passed me.
it's great. Yeah, Well, we took you look at Ben's dad, you go, oh, okay, there
Oh,
it
he's
is, right?
tall. Okay.
Yeah, he's tall. Yeah.
Well, I hadn't, because you don't pay it. We've been watching it, and just you don't pay as much attention. But I saw a picture of him from season one, and then season 3 and 4, and I'm like, holy cow.
Yeah. Yeah. I just posted a thread that I can't remember who sent it to me, but it was about, I think it was in season 2. And I was describing how terrible France was. And there's a shot of him at the end, and he's just so tiny. And I just went, oh my gosh. But you know what? They're still the same kids, like, except they just get better and better, if that makes any sense. Like, I mean, not that they were great coming right out of the gate, and then they just keep improving, and it's just such a pleasure to watch.
Well, it's fun watching. I graduated in 1988, so that shows they're just a couple years behind. What I was
Right.
at that time, and it's a pretty accurate portrayal of what it was like. I know it's in Newfoundland, but
Right.
it's pretty accurate as far as what it was like growing up in the 80s and 90s.
Yes. No, I can honestly say that Mark Critch has led and continues to lead an extraordinary life, and he documented it all. And the most astonishing things that you see on the show really happened. Any time I ask Mark or I question, I go, come on. And he goes, this is what I was wearing. This is what I said. Here's a picture. And he kept things. I don't know if Colton mentioned any of this, but he's wearing his dad's own radio jacket. His
Really?
own, yeah, his own dad. And he's got many of the things in the Critch household are from his
Love
old
that.
house. Which is, so you can't, it's that authenticity that I think brings so much to the show.
Yeah.
My character is not based on a real person, based on many people. Um,
It's more of an
um,
amalgam.
yeah, there was not like there's a lot of people go, gosh, and I said, well, it's not all real. But but these people are so real. And I love watching watching his life. Like,
Oh,
sometimes
it's so
I
cool
just,
that he plays the dad. I love
yeah, and
that.
I sometimes it's just there was an episode last season that started with him listening to the radio, and it was Try to Remember, and I was I just brought a tear to my eye, and I texted him, and he said, "Well, that was my dad's favorite song." Right. So
Oh,
it's like, it's all those little touches that
well, that's what make it great.
yeah. And then the fact that he's now, in in our season 4. I don't know how far you've got with the
No, we
seasons.
haven't got. I've read the recaps, but yeah, we
Right.
haven't got them
Yeah.
here in the States yet. I was hoping
Yeah.
we'd have it this summer, but maybe this fall it'll show up.
Yeah. Maybe yeah. Apparently, I'm not in control of the world that way.
Yeah, make some calls, could you?
Yeah. Could I? Yeah. In that case, I'd have my own series if I could do that. But yeah, it's been lovely to watch him be able to live out his childhood and also be there playing his own dad. It's great.
It's so cool. I told Colton, we love the whole cast. The casting's just terrific, and I've been a Malcolm McDowell fan since I was
Right.
a kid. But Sister Rose is my favorite.
Oh, thank you.
I told Colton, I was like, as soon as we watched you in the first episode that we saw you, and we're like, I was like, I got to get her for the podcast.
Oh, thank you, Michael. I have to say, it's the most fun I've ever had.
Well, she
Because
cracks
it,
me up. She's just
I,
she's so reserved and so religious, but she's battling against herself the
oh,
whole time.
this is what I like to say to people: married to Jesus, but in love with Malcolm McDowell, or Pops, right? So it's married to Jesus. It's just not a happy marriage. And if you look into their backstory, so I enjoy it so much because they keep throwing little surprises in. And I think Sister Rose is just hanging on by a thread. She's got all of her, it's that interesting thing. My boyfriend says, because I was not raised in the Christian faith, I don't know any of the stuff. And I would go into the writer's room and I go, that's pretty funny. And they'd say, it's in the Bible, Nora. And I go, it is? They go, all the funniest stuff is in the Bible. And my boyfriend says that Sister Rose and Nora McLellan both have the same kind of grasp. She just knows it. She knows it off by heart, but it doesn't necessarily apply. She just brings it out,
She
and
just
then she'll
knows it.
do, and then she does the opposite herself. right? So it's a lot of fun to be somebody who's so mean and yet so you know where it's coming from, right? Like
Yeah.
I remember there was a scene in the season 3 where I said, and I didn't do anything with it, but I said they're talking about high school, and I say choose carefully because you'll live with these decisions for the rest of your life. And I was thinking about my own, you know, little life of Sister Rose going. I didn't want to do this, right?
Well, and that's exactly how you play her. Like you can tell she's doing it. She's doing the job,
Oh, yeah.
but she's not really wanting to.
No, no, I absolutely agree. I think there was a one, it's so funny because I always complain about the costume change. I don't have a costume change, but one time I got to try on a pair of jeans, and that was a big day for Sister
Oh,
Rose.
that was the jeans day, right?
Yeah, jeans day. Yes, and and I was also excited about that, right? Like I was that I got to, so I always go up to them. I go, it's just the costume changes. You guys are killing me, and they but and Ben also, he played me in an episode where he was playing a nun like me doing a comedy bit, and he said, "Now I understand why you're always going what." Because I can't hear with my helmet on. I call it my helmet. And he said, I said, so you understand, right? Like, because if I'm far away and the first AD is going, I just hear this, Nora. And I go, what? And, like, so this, because I really
Well, it's
can't
like you're
hear.
wearing earmuffs.
Yeah, so, and a nice wool costume when it's nice and
Ooh,
hot, too.
yeah, yeah. I thought about that. I was like, I don't think those breathe very well. They're kind of hot.
No, yes. I mean, but you know what? Small price to pay, I would say. The crew is so lovely.
Oh,
They come around and give me a little fan.
oh, that's
Like I'm
nice.
spoiled out of my mind, a little sip of water. And I've got to say it's the nicest. Well, every crew I've worked with in Canada, I always think is the nicest, but this is really the nicest.
Oh, yeah.
They're
I
so
love to hear that. Just as a fan, you want your people you're watching to get along because not every set's like that. Sometimes they battle.
Oh yeah, and I have seen those
Yeah,
myself, but yeah, this is a group of people. Like I go out a couple of times, if I can, and I'm around. We do crew karaoke night, and
I love that.
there's lots of dinners. Malcolm and I do a lot of. We'll go and have a lunch, and then we'll go and have an ice cream on the street. It's of course he gets mobbed. Nobody recognizes me at all because I'm usually smiling, but I'm now getting a little. Are you related to Janet from Gander? You look so familiar. Sometimes my voice, but other than that, I can be
That's
standing with the
funny.
whole company, and they come. The people come by. They're kind of swarming around all the kids and Malcolm, and they just like I'm not even there in the room. Um,
Well, I know I mean, he's kind of a legend.
oh yeah, but the best guy. I just adore them. I adore him. We get it.
Well,
We
he
have a
seems to
good.
just have a good attitude about all of it.
He's great. He's great. I mean, he loves Mark. He loves the writing. He loves. I mean, we get on the phone maybe once a month and have a good old goss about just everything. And also, we're I don't know, maybe only 11 or 12 years apart in age. And so when I love to hear his stories about
Yeah.
the theater and the things like that because I understand who he's talking about. And, so but not they're all such great storytellers. Are you kidding? Go out for dinner with Mark Critch and Malcolm McDowell. You don't have to do much, but just stand back and have a good
Oh,
time.
those are the best dinners. That's what Colton said the same thing. Said they're
Yeah,
the best storytellers.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And so yeah, I have found it to be such a pleasure to work with Malcolm because he loves to he loves it when it's just so much fun. And we all do, and so we had a one day, in fact, it was my last day last season, and we just were laughing so hard. And our director, Vanessa Matsui, she was so kind because she'd go, and cut. She'd go, Nora, I can you not sort of fall all over him? And I go, I'm so sorry, really, so but we were just enjoying ourselves tremendously.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, you two had some episodes in season 3 You know, you had
Yes,
the trip, you know, where you leave the country for a little bit.
right.
And you've got the there was the episode where he found the pictures of you when you
Yes.
were younger. I love that one.
Yes, I don't know if I'm telling tales out of school here, but that I was pretty sure was going to be my last episode, and I think they
Really?
thought so too. But then Mark wrote to me and he said it doesn't make any sense, but we're going to have you back, which I
Well,
was
yeah,
so
you
pleased.
moved to the high school, right? In season
Yes,
4?
but I wasn't supposed to. So it's one of those things where you're reading a script going, this doesn't look good. Because I've been on a couple. I was on one show. I won't say what it was, but my character went out for a cup of tea and never made it back.
That
Right?
was
Like
it.
people would be afraid and go, "Where the hell are you?" And I go, "I think I'm still at the tea shop, somewhere in space." But so
They
at any
never
rate,
explained it.
uh, no. That'd be a negative. I don't think so. It's just again how it goes. I mean, I was just looking at a text from John Vatcher, who's one of our directors and one of the producers, and he had a shot of me coming down the corridor. And he said, you know what, just take that kid and just push him up against the locker, like get him out of the way. And it was so funny. And it was cut, but you can hear it,
Oh,
right? Like you can hear this. And I wrote to him and I said, I'm so sorry that was cut. And he said, the way of the play, right? Like
right.
they've got to get rid of. I just did a show called Revival, a new series
Oh
called
yeah, yeah. So
Revival.
a sci-fi network, right?
And I was in two episodes, and the last episode, I got the billing and everything, but all you saw was my dead body in a coffin because they cut the scene, the really big scene. And my scene partner
Oh
wrote and
yeah,
said,
that's
"How was the scene?"
painful.
And I went, "God is where it is, unless they're going to show it sometime in the near future." But it was just one of those ones you go, "Oh, damn it!"
Yeah, what
So
happened?
well, it wasn't there was something else they needed to say, and
Yeah,
that's what happens. I when I look at the watch the episodes myself, and often I'm surprised because I'm always wearing the same thing, so I don't remember necessarily. I go, oh, I'm in this one, good, and then you go, oh no, that's been cut, but then you go, well, because they've had to use something else to
that's
tell
right.
the story, yeah, and so I think at some point. Um, you just have to get used to it. You know what I mean? Like you just go,
Well,
okay, I
hopefully
get,
some of those scenes make it out if they release, DVDs or something. They'll add
yeah. I
some.
mean, do they even do that? I used to love that. I mean, I
Oh,
was
me
one of those
too.
people. I'm sure you agree, Michael. It was watching the DVD extras with some of my and watching the commentary.
Oh yeah, that's that was podcast training for me. I just didn't know it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. But it's just like the best. And I sometimes, well, not sometimes, I still miss those. I mean, you can find things on YouTube where they'll have outtakes and things like that. But and sometimes those great kind of inside the scene
Yes.
things where they'll show how it was
Oh, I
shot,
like that.
which
Yeah.
is fascinating. I don't know if you ever watched Orphan Black.
Oh, I love Orphan Black. I know you had an appearance on there.
Yeah, yeah, and it was great. Just to see how they made that work. I mean, there's a great on YouTube. There's a great video of I think it was the end of season 2. Tatiana is dancing with all of the at that time. No, at that time with 3 of her other clones, plus her brother and her daughter,
Yep.
and how long it took to shoot and how long it was quite astonishing, right, to watch how they did that.
Well, it
So
had
I
to
would
because
just
yeah, she's playing all the roles.
Oh, you betcha. And so it's just like one of those great things where you'd come to set and just asked to stand around and watch her incredible acting double, who was so extraordinary, and just to watch how well and easily and it was hard, but she could slip back and forth into character, so it was great.
Yeah, yeah. If you were an actor, what a great role because you get to play
Oh,
like all these different personalities.
absolutely. In fact, I reminded Tatiana, that I played in a Lily Tomlin play that was written by her wife Jane Wagner, called Search for Intelligent Sides of Life in the Universe. I said, Tat, I played 30 characters in that show, and I didn't get a costume change. So there.
So,
So
well,
there.
Nora, I jumped ahead a little bit. Let's back up a little bit. What got you into acting? So that's just a hard profession. What made you want to be an actress?
You know what, I've got to say, in a weird way, just lucky. I was one of those kids that had some issues growing up with concentration and attentiveness disorder and all of that
lot
kind
of
of stuff.
people had that.
Yeah, but of course at that time undiagnosed, and so we moved a lot. So I would often be in a school for a week, and the principal would come in and say, "Where's the McLellan girl?" And I'd put my hand up, and they go, "Okay, you're going to go and help the kindergarten teacher for the next." I just wanted to get me out of the class. I moved to a school for a very brief time. This was I was 8 years old, and her name was Frances Norman. And she kept me behind one day, and she said, "I've noticed that I've been watching you, and you're new to the school and everything, and you've got a lot of energy, but you've got a really good voice, strong voice, and a good singing voice. So I think we should put you on stage." And her husband was the general manager of the Vancouver Opera, and she was in the chorus. And her son, who went on to become a great actor and composer, Merrick, we started together in the Vancouver Opera Children's Chorus back in the day. So that was it. That I got on stage when I was 8, and I did not leave.
There's I love those stories where there's just that teacher that kind of points you in the right direction. Sometimes it's intentional, sometimes it's they're just trying to find something for you, but it works out.
Yeah, no, I have every belief that Frances knew exactly what she was doing. I can't tell you how much of a lifesaver that was for me, right? Because even as I struggled in school and all of the rest of the things, when I got a job as an actor, as a child especially, and then by the time I was 17, I was 16 or 17, I was working full time. So I mean, as a stage actor, that's
amazing.
Yeah, so it's been a long, good time, and I'm unemployed right at the moment. And I just wrote to somebody and I said, if this is what retirement is like, I hate it.
Yeah. No thanks.
I don't have any structure.
Have you heard anything on season 5? Is that?
There's been some talk. It's just there, and I don't know how much I'm allowed to say, but I think there will probably be I'm hoping a season 5.
I think the signs look like it's coming.
It was announced. Yeah, it's just I think at this point it's just getting everybody into the room at the same time. I don't know.
Not always easy.
What did Colton say? See, this is how we talk.
Colton said the same thing. He said, "Oh yeah, it's happening. I just don't know when."
Yeah, exactly. Like, somebody contacted me the other day. I said, "Do you know what's going on?" And so I wrote back and I went, "I don't know if we're high up on the email chain there, but everybody's been so good about trying to reach out, and I can't tell you, they're such great people." Right. So everybody wants it to work.
Such a great show. And I found it by accident. I had Sherry Miller had come on the show, and I think she played like Fox's estranged grandmother, I think, in an episode.
Oh yeah. In fact, I just watched a clip of that the other day. It was great.
Yeah. Well, and so she came on the show, and she said I'd asked her if she was working on anything else, and she said, "Oh, I'm on this really great little show he said it's just a real small part, but she was talking Son of a Critch." And I was like, I haven't heard of that before, but she told me about it, and I was like, I'll go look it up. So then I looked it up, and then I was like, oh, she was right. That was a good show.
Isn't that fantastic? I know. I've got to say, like, there have been so many people that I haven't known because I wasn't shooting that day that are on the show, that when I watch, I go, oh, they got Rick Mercer. Oh, they got Andy. You know what I mean? And for me, as a left coaster born in Vancouver, the Newfoundland art scene, to me, and I'm going to say some names that your Canadian viewers might know, Codco, all of the people that did where Mark Critch and Rick Mercer came from. Gordon Pinsent, I don't know if you know the great American actor. Look him up. He was
I know Gordon. Yep.
the cod father, as
That's
we
right.
called him. So he was, it was watching all of this stuff that gave me this. It was like I was in the same country, but not, because Vancouver, is such a new place, right? Like I can remember growing up, and if something was built in 1920 or 30, that seemed old, right?
Right.
So because it's a new town, it was one of the farthest places west you could get to. So the Newfoundland culture scene is so strong, and they're so loyal to each other. And I love the fact that Mark cast these incredible actors in these roles. And I would walk on, I go, oh my God, it's you. And I'm so thrilled to be like having lunch with you, it's just great.
Well, the casting, and not just the main cast, but even the guest stars, it's really good. Like everybody fits their role.
Yeah, and it's very loosey goosey. I mean, I was so thrilled that Mark McKinney was on from Kids in the Hall, and
love Mark McKinney. He's so
funny.
I
mean, so good. And he was just coming off the big store. Was it called Big Store or Superstore?
Oh, it's
Superstore. What's that? What it was called?
Superstore.
Yeah.
Superstore.
And I was asking him what that was like, and he said it was just a lot of fun and all of that kind of stuff. And it took him a while because the two of us are in our little nuns outfits, and he went, "Are you guys the nuns that are always?" And he said, "Yeah." He said, "Oh, you'll be around for a while." But it was love. It's that kind of lovely thing that you don't necessarily know who's showing up.
Yeah, that's cool. I assumed that you knew ahead of time. When somebody was coming.
I know somebody knows, but not necessarily me.
Yeah. So, but I think I'd prefer it that way. It'd be just I wouldn't have time to get nervous. So
yeah. Oh, and also there's no time to be nervous anyway. It wouldn't matter if I don't know, Helen Mirren showed up. You just have to, because there's a timeline. There's not a lot of, or at least with, how do I say this? Because I don't mean it to sound like it's a bad thing, but sometimes I am grateful if I get 2 shots at it, or 2 or maybe 3. Right. So because there's a time limit for kids, especially, and so you don't want to screw it up. You just want to get.
That's right. Yeah, if you take too long, you're going to lose some attention.
Yeah. So I said to one of the directors, John Vatcher, I said, he goes, "I got it." And I go, "I haven't given it." And then I look at the show and I go, "You did get it though. Damn you."
He knew what he was doing.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing. So, you know what I mean? Because I come from that theater background, that I just like to go back and redo all that. And usually my best work comes about 3 months later. If I'm out on a walk, I go, "Oh, I should have done that."
Well, we all have that problem. If somebody insults you and you can't think of a comeback, and then a couple hours later, the perfect comeback comes to you, and you're like,
yes. Oh. Yeah, absolutely. I do my best audition on the drive home. Right. But like that, so yeah, absolutely. So I just finished doing a play in Vancouver, about Princess Diana coming to visit an AIDS hospice in Toronto.
Yeah.
And it's a brilliant new Canadian play. And I wrote on our WhatsApp chat just last week, I said, I'd like to go back and revisit some of these. Like, I want to re-rehearse it now. I don't need to necessarily perform it. I just want to go back and have another look.
You're going to try another attempt at it.
Just another pass, right?
I always like to think, where's the first thing that I've seen this person in? And I was convinced that it was X-Files for you, that was pretty early. But then I saw that you were in that double Toil and Trouble movie, and I definitely watched that. So I probably saw you in that first.
Oh my God.
I've got, my daughter was born right around when that one came out. So a couple years later, she was wearing that one out.
Absolutely. No, I played a cop, female officer, Wait, I think it was. I had auditioned. Stuart Margolin from the Rockford Files was the director, and I auditioned for so
Oh,
many
my dad,
parts in
that's one of
that.
my dad's favorite shows.
Oh,
Files.
absolutely. And I was so thrilled to meet him. And I auditioned for maybe 7 different roles. And then finally he said, we should just give you a part. And I said, I'd love that. Um, and so they gave me this part. And I had to I still think about this. I had to walk up to the door. It was nighttime. Knock on the door. Eric McCormick and Kelly Fox would open the door, and I would say, "We're on the lookout for the kids," and blah blah blah. And then the door would shut, and this was the line I had to say. It was a strange vehicle. There was a crow and a little person in a circus car. I can say that now, Michael. At the time, it was like we'd been on set for 10 hours.
Yep.
And I'd shut the door and I'd go, it was a strange vehicle. There was a bird that was with a person in a car that was small. What is, and I didn't, and they kept going, oh, it's not a person. I go, okay, we must have done it 10 times and it's getting to the magic hour, right? And I was just going, I just don't understand. Finally, I said it like 2 minutes before midnight, and the crew cheered. Everybody cheered. I was like, thank God. And then when I finally saw the movie, oh no, there was another day we were on a set, and there I saw a tiny person in a circus car with a crow on his thing on his shoulder driving down. And I went, it was a strange vehicle. There was a crow and a little person in a circus car. Oh, now I see, because I could literally see it. If that makes any sense, like it just,
They just needed to show you a picture, and you'd have been fine.
Well, I think they just thought I would know my lines. I couldn't. I mean, like it still makes me laugh. Every time I see Kelly,
That's
I
funny.
say that line to her. Yeah, but yeah,
But yeah,
and
I watched that movie many times. At
well,
least
it's
halfway
something
watched it.
back in the days of residuals, which we don't get anymore. It's the X-Files and that one that I know I don't put in my program because I don't want people saying it aloud in the theater because it's from the Scottish play.
Right.
But and I it's not a lot, but I get about $80 US a year.
Well, there you go. It's not terrible.
And that's after, 30 years or something.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah. Well, X-Files pretty well, and if I remember right, yours was a pretty early at like season 1, maybe
yeah,
episode
it
5 or
was.
6, something. It was early.
Well, I was just talking about this, Michael, the other day that I had auditioned for the first 4 episodes for a guest star part. And then I realized I was never going to get one of the guest star parts. So I came in for the 5th episode. And I remember Chris Carty was so sweet. He said, we should just give you an office. And I said, I can do you one better. After I read this part, can I read for this part of the friend of hers? And they went, okay. I said, I just give me. So I read that part and then read the part. And then I phoned my agent and I said, tell them I'm in Los Angeles. And she phoned up and she said, they want you for a callback for this smaller part. And I said, out of the country. And so that's how I got on the show.
I love that.
Yeah. So, but it was a lot of fun. And of course, at that time, I wish I'd saved those scripts. I mean, my God. But we had no idea, or at least I certainly had no idea. No, I can't say we I had no idea that it was going to be such a big show.
Well, and when it first started, it was a little clunky. It was still good, but it was a little clunky because they hadn't quite found their rhythm yet.
Yeah.
But by halfway through the first season, I mean, it was a hit. I mean,
absolutely. Yeah. But those little special effects, I remember there was one that was just involved a magnet under the desk and something moving. And we were on that for hours because it just couldn't work. And I would leave the office room and I'd go, is it me? Is it me? Right? And they go, no, not you at all. But it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. It's hard to believe that's been 30 years or so ago.
Yeah, I look exactly the same.
Me too. Back then I had the 80s hair. So I had it down to my shoulders and kind of curled up. And, I hated it at the time because it took so long to fix. And that's my theory. At some point, my hair was just like, all right, we're out.
Yeah, we're gone.
You
You're
don't
having
want it,
trouble.
then we're gone.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
we
oh,
don't. You're.
now I kind of want it back.
Yeah, no kidding. That's funny. That's funny.
Well, and then I remembered you on KillJoys.
Right.
You were on a bunch of those. That was I've always watched. I love science fiction, so SyFy channel I'd always watched. So when KillJoys came out, I just watched it. It's a pretty good show, and it
Yeah.
went on for several seasons.
Oh yeah, it was. I mean, those three. I worked mostly with Hannah and Aaron and Luke and Mako
Yep.
Nguyen, who's one of the stars of Hudson and Rex. We just did I did an
Oh yeah,
episode
you
of
just did a Hudson and Rex. Yeah.
Yeah, and we realized we went to the same high school together, apparently, though at different years. But so I spent a lot of my time with just those three people, and they're all such lovely people.
Yeah.
I was very nervous. I often got a text changes right at the last minute, and it was a lot of exposition. And
That made me nervous.
they'd be shooting sort of around, and I'd be, the poor script supervisor would be coming up and going, I'll get there. And I would say to Aaron, did I get there? He said, believe it or not, by the time it was on you, you got it, right? But I would just be like, it's stomach and knots and all of that kind of stuff,
Yeah, that
because
sounds stressful.
well, it was for me, but I think I was also Luke McFarlane was really kind to me because he'd work a lot on stage, like
Yeah.
because it was down to there were times when the camera operator would say, "I need you to move a millimeter to the right, like a millimeter," and I'd just be like, "Okay, so how?" And then he'd come up and he'd sort of go, "Look, slap the thing down, just lean on your right foot," and I go, "Thank you." Oh, was that what she was trying to say the whole time? And he'd go, "Yeah, but I've been on a TV show now, and now I understand. I didn't understand." So he was really kind
Oh, that's great.
in showing me around. They were all, I mean, they're all
Well, you
lovely.
need that, when it's something new, and a lot of
Yeah,
times it moves so fast that you don't get that help.
yeah,
But
yeah. And
everybody
if you
needs
look,
it at some point.
yeah, yeah. I mean, during the first two episodes of Revival, where they're just getting started on such a big
Yeah.
show, it was incredible to stand by and watch. I mean, like uh, it's huge, right? And they're working so hard, and all of the actors are trying to find out what they were doing, and all of that kind of stuff. It's just amazing. So the Killjoys experience was a really good learning experience for me, and again, wonderful group of people, wonderful cast. It
I
was
love
a
that.
delight to be with
Well,
them.
because
Yeah.
it's a Vancouver, or was a Vancouver show, right? It was in
No,
Vancouver.
it's Toronto.
Oh, it's Toronto. Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
was thinking it was
yeah,
Vancouver. Because I know, well,
yeah.
I know a lot of the science fiction shows are in Vancouver.
Yeah, they sure are.
Vancouver.
They
Yeah,
sure are.
they got a
That
bunch.
and Hallmark as well is in
Oh yeah,
Vancouver.
yeah. I kind of assumed that Hallmark is kind of like Law and Order here in the U.S. At some point, if you're in the area, you're going to be on it.
Yeah,
You're going to be in a Hallmark movie,
yes,
or you're going to be
I
on
know.
Hallmark.
I'm hoping that Law and Order Toronto
Oh,
gets
that's
more
right.
because I want to be on that show. But there's just some shows that I cannot get on. Murdoch Mysteries, for example, I
Yeah,
just
I'm
can't.
kind of surprised I haven't seen you on Murdoch Mystery.
No, I'm surprised too, to be honest. I don't know. Like my dentist, he's just retired, but I used to come and he go, "Why are you not on Murdoch?" And I go, "I'm trying, Marty. I'm trying." So, but it's just one of those things that you go, "Okay." I auditioned 3 times for Schitt's Creek, and every time I saw the episode I auditioned for, I thought that person was better. Absolutely, right? Like so
Oh, what a
it's
show!
I it's just like sometimes they know what they're doing better than I know
Well,
what I
that's
know.
it. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
it's that's why I think acting's so hard, because it's not that everybody's talented. It's
Mhm.
or most are very talented. It's just a matter of whether or not you're a fit for what they're looking for, and that's all
Mhm.
opinion based.
Yeah.
That could be very difficult and frustrating.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And and sometimes it's nice when you get a little feedback. Nowadays with self tapes and things like that, you don't even know if they've even looked at you.
No, that's it.
But
That's
when you
like I would, because I'm an introvert. I would probably prefer self tapes but you miss out on any redirection or anything.
Yeah, you got that right. I mean, like I've done better with Zoom auditions where somebody has said, "Can you try it?"
Well, at least there
and
you
do
have somebody that you're
and try and do
conversing
this,
with.
because when you're self-taping, you make a choice. I was telling I think it was Renica, who's one of our directors,
Yeah.
Claire Rankin, who plays the mom,
Love Claire.
and
Love
Mary,
her.
and
I told Colton, I grew up where every mom in the neighborhood was basically Claire.
oh, isn't that great? Isn't that
Pretty
great?
nice.
Yeah, I mean, she's so lovely. And Renica was the director of the pilot
Oh.
of A Son of a Critch. So I was doing a Zoom call. I only had pages in front of me, and I was doing it on my phone in the bathroom, as you do, as one does. And I thought it was a drama. So I was, I didn't know what I was even
Well,
auditioning for.
when I first started it, I wasn't sure either. Figured it
Well,
out pretty
yeah, well,
quick. But
thank you for making me feel better there, Michael. But all of a sudden I saw Mark Critch's face and I went, oh, hi. And then I went, let's look at this again. And you know what I mean? But I really, and he said, well, you were just so cruel. And I went, well, I didn't know if I was in a, exactly what the tone was, but obviously and clearly it worked, which is great. But sometimes a friend of mine just said she auditioned for something and she thought it was a comedy, and then the person who she auditioned with said, "I've looked it up. It's a horror drama," and she went, "Oh dear." So
yeah, that's a big difference.
yeah. So I sent in an audition for something. I can't say what it was. I didn't get it, but I sent it to one of the writers, and he said, I'm not in control of casting. And I said, no, I just wanted you to send this tape to tell you that this was the best I could do, but also the worst I could do, right at the same time. I I went for a choice, and I looked at it and went, oh my gosh, that's just but it's also, I couldn't do any better, but it was terrible.
I've had, I bet, 24 different people that have been on Hudson and Rex.
Right.
And I've never got the lead actor. I was like, I really need to try to get him. So I've had like every guest star he's ever had on that show.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I was on that show for just one episode, and most of my things were, is that true? I had one scene with John, and I had more of my things with Mako.
Yep.
Who's great. You should just ask Mako.
Yeah, I've got them on my list. So yeah, I'm getting ready to send that one because
absolutely. And tell her I said hi.
Yeah, I will. I'll make sure to. And Revival, it's newer, but it's been great so far, and it's Melanie's the lead actor.
Yeah, she's fantastic. My God.
Back in the 90s, I owned a couple of comic book stores. That's how I put myself through school. And we had this gentleman that wrote comics that would come into the store. He was a regular. He worked for Eclipse Comics, which doesn't exist anymore. But he created Winona Earp that Melanie was on. It was Bo Smith's his name, and he still lives like 15 minutes away from me. Great guy.
No kidding.
But I remember talking to him about those, 30 years ago, and then 20 years later it becomes a show.
Yeah. I mean, because again, I arrived, I had no idea who was going to be working with and everything. And she walked into the hair and makeup, and I went, why, Nona Earp? She started to laugh. I went, I'm sorry, I just fangirled all over you. Right. She said, oh, fangirl away. It's, and again, Aaron Kuntz, who's one of the show creators, it took them 8 years to get this graphic novel off the ground.
Well, yeah, it's a slow process getting those.
Yeah, I mean, like they were, just watching like the first few days, it was like finally after all of this time, right? So I didn't know that Winona was that old, and what a great series.
Yeah, it was a great comic book, and then
and that's one of the one of the writers, Emily Andras, who wrote on KillJoys. That was her baby.
Oh, I
So
love that.
she, yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Bo
such a
Smith is the guy that created the comic, and yeah, he's local. Yeah, I just talked to him
wow.
the other day.
That's not
Well,
incredible.
and
This is
he also he worked for DC Comics for a while, and um he had a big hand in creating Guy Gardner, who is the Green Lantern that's in the
yeah,
new
yeah,
Superman movie. So he's been getting a little bit of spotlight for that lately too. So I was like, ah, good for you.
yeah. No kidding. I mean, it's such an incredible world, right?
It's fun.
I think you've heard that Ben, of course, is going to be in the new Zelda.
Yes.
Um, do you know which? Apparently, because I'm over 40, I didn't catch the reference, but anybody I've mentioned to it has gone, right? Like it's a big
Yeah.
thing,
That's
right?
that
So,
my stepdaughter, that's her game.
right.
Yeah, she loves Zelda. So yeah,
Yeah.
we're pretty excited about that. He'll do great.
Yeah. Yeah. No, isn't that great? I mean, like we're all very, very excited for Ben.
Yeah, he'll be great at it.
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me a bit. And then I wanted to mention Strays, because you were Doris on Strays for several
Yeah.
episodes. Nikki Duvall has been on the show. She was on Strays.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, they again. We were talking about this at lunch the other day. The the person who is number one on the call sheet often sets the tone. And
Yes.
Nicole Power was, I wrote to her afterwards and I said, thank you for, well, first of all, that crew had been all working together on Kim's Convenience, right?
Oh, I love
I,
Kim's Convenience.
yeah,
Yeah.
so that it was, I think many of the same crew,
Yeah.
but she was so kind and prepared, like Tatiana, like she would take the
Yeah.
time to work with you. We did improvs together. We did, it was like she was just lovely. In fact, they were all again just lovely. And I've had a chance to work with a couple of the directors on that show since. I did 4 episodes, and I was so happy to be there. It was really a great experience, and I can't say enough about Nicole Power.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah. Yeah.
she's awesome.
Well, it's just a fun show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
pretty good.
I was very grateful to be on it, right? So I again, anytime I get to be on anything, I'm grateful.
Well, is there at this point is there a genre that you haven't done that you still like to do?
Hmm. Do you know what? I don't think I've ever done a. I'm just trying to think. I don't think I've ever done a real straight drama. Oh, that's not well. There was a movie called I don't mean to laugh. Sometimes the Good Kill, where we were nuns
Yeah.
and there was murder, but it wasn't quite the same. And I did do one again for Nintendo. The closest I'll ever get to a Hallmark film. It was called The Secret Sauce, and it was one of those
Oh, Secret Sauce.
Hallmark Hallmarky kind of movies. And the director just asked for me. He said, "Oh, I'm bored with all the actors they're showing me." And his girlfriend said, "Well, who did you like on the Nun movie?" And he said, "I like that Nora." And they said, "Bring her in." And I was like, in the middle of the pandemic, I got to spend a month in Montreal. We weren't allowed to talk to each other though because of the
Yeah.
pandemic. But I worked with Tori Anderson, who went on to do NCIS Hawaii,
Yep.
and Corey Sevier, who does a lot of the movies. And so there was such a small cast. The crew was so much fun.
Well, it had to make you feel good too that he wanted you specifically.
Oh yeah. In fact, I remember I came up to him. No, I phoned my then agent and I said, I didn't audition for this. And she said, "This is how hard I worked for you." And I went, "Oh,
Good
okay."
for
And
her.
then I got to the set and I said, I guess Philippe, it was Philippe Gagnon. And I said, apparently my agent, and he said, "No, it's my girlfriend. She looked at your picture. She said, get her." And I said, "Well, thank you." So I got him a nice bottle of champagne at the end
Oh, it's nice
of the
of
shoot.
you.
Yeah. Well, listen, he gave me a nice job, you
Yeah.
know?
Well, yeah, and I mean, it's all about the networking. You want to keep those ties because you never know what's coming.
Well, yeah. I mean, I keep hoping that they will invite me back at some point. But I mean, I think that, I mean, to me, every job is the best job, right?
Yeah.
Uh, I guess in terms of film and television, I would love to have really good part on a drama. I mean, comedy is a specialty, but I've done a lot of
If they
drama.
would spin off Sister Rose, I would watch that.
Yeah. I don't know how Mark would feel about that. But
You could do a whole series just about her.
yeah, but except it would be her as a kid.
Well, that's true. Yeah, you'd probably have to do it as a kid. But then
believe me,
they'd need you to be the one having the flashbacks.
that's right. That's right. No, believe me, Rodrigo, who plays Father Garcia, he and I were chatting the other night. He said we should have a spinoff, and I said,
Yeah.
Okay, you talk to Mark Critch about that, and let me know.
Well, you got to wrap up this one, so whenever this one wraps, then maybe.
You never know.
They did that with Young Sheldon. They just Big Bang Theory. They just keep spinning off Big Bang Theory.
Is there another Big Bang?
Yeah, there's another one coming, I guess. It's going to be the comic book shop guy.
Oh my gosh!
So wow! Yeah, it's going to be around Stewart.
That's incredible. Yeah. Well, you know something. I mean, he knows what he's doing. I mean, it's interesting with those shows. I like How I Met Your Mother and stuff, which I quite enjoyed watching. And I finished watching it, and I thought I never need to watch that again. Like, but I enjoyed it.
You're done. Yeah, it's good.
Like there's some shows like The Wire I could watch every year on the year.
Incredible.
Do you know what I mean? And learn something new. But those shows they were fun to watch, and then you just go, yeah, I'm okay. I didn't know. I knew about the Young Sheldon spinoff. I don't have cable anymore, so I just didn't watch. But I didn't know that there was a Stewart spinoff. That's incredible.
Yeah, it hadn't come out yet, but and then there's, Young Sheldon spun off his brother into George and Mandy's first wedding or something like that.
Oh my gosh!
So there was a spinoff from the spinoff.
That's incredible. That is just incredible.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably the dream. If you're putting out a show, that's what you'd want, right?
I guess so, huh? That's all Chuck Lorre, huh?
Yeah.
Wow. That's incredible.
I know. He doesn't do too much wrong, though.
Yeah. No, that's incredible.
Yeah,
wow. Thank you for letting me know.
Well, I've got all this useless information. I might as well share it.
No kidding. Absolutely.
Well, Nora, thank you for taking a little bit of time. This has been terrific. I'm such a fan. I told you, Sister Rose. I'm all about Sister Rose. She cracks me up. Every time you're on camera, I'm already laughing.
Thank you so much.
Hilarious. I love it.
I've got to say, the part of a lifetime for me, and I so appreciate that you appreciate it, and I hope that your watchers and listeners will join in, especially in the U.S. and Canada, to watch Son of a Critch. It is really one of the best shows I've ever been on, and I love sharing the happiness of us with you guys, and I truly appreciate you having me on.
No, you're so welcome. Yeah, it's so worth it. And I'm doing my part. I'm telling everybody, you need to watch this show. I've told all my buddies, I'm like, we grew up in this time period. You need to be watching the show.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. No, absolutely. It's so accurate and so lovely. Yeah. Thank you so much. Do you want me to, after I've just said, thank you, do you want me to leave the chat, or do we stay on for
No, stay on. Okay. Yeah, I got a couple little things before I wrap us up. So,
okay.
Is there anything else that you're working on that we can keep an eye out for?
On television at the moment, not anything, but you never know.
You never know.
I've got a theater gig coming up in next February in Hamilton, Ontario, an Agatha Christie.
Oh, and love an Agatha Christie. Are you the killer?
I can't say. You know that, Michael. How dare you?
I took a shot.
How very dare you? I think I was watching an episode of I don't know if you've ever watched Toast of London.
I haven't seen that one.
It's with Matt Berry, who's on What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah. Love that show.
Oh my God, I would have killed to have been on that show.
Yeah, I love that show.
And he plays an actor in London. It's a little older, but at one point he's doing a podcast or something, and he said he gives away the ending of the Agatha Christie.
Oh, no.
It's like the Mousetrap, like the show that's been running for 35 years. Yeah, he says, well, we all know that the so-and-so did it, and everybody's like, no, we didn't. Yes.
You do now.
We do now. Yeah. So he gets into a lot of trouble for that. Believe me.
That's funny. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I
I've
mean,
never caught anybody. I throw them out there once in a while, but nobody is bit. So
nice
everybody's like,
try.
oh, we can't tell you that.
Yeah. I mean, gosh, Orphan Black, Michael, we had to sign, like, the lawyers were down
Yeah.
every 5 minutes. You said you're not NDAs, right? Just so that you couldn't say a word. In fact, my audition was with a dummy script. It had nothing to do
Really?
with the real script.
It
Yeah.
seems like that would
They
be hard to figure out if that's the person you want, if they're not reading anything that's
Well,
related
it
to.
was close enough, right? They
Oh,
wanted
it's
to make
close
sure
enough.
that I
Yeah.
had the accent. They wanted to make sure that I had, or something. I don't know, but it was kind of interesting because you get there and you go, oh, all right, But I think I would not give away an Agatha Christie,
No, no, no,
but
no. We don't
and I'm
want you to
just
do
waiting,
that.
as usual, waiting for auditions. It's just a slow and different time right now, as you know, the
Well,
world
it
is,
has been since
yeah,
2020. Yeah.
and so there's a lot of actors going up for the same
Yeah.
role, and especially women of an age. It's just more difficult. So we hang on
That's
like
right.
little kittens, right?
Hang on, wait.
Yep,
It'll come. It just you got to wait
yep,
for it.
yep, and do your best. Yeah.
Are you on social media?
Yes, I am.
Where can we find you on social
Oh, yes. On I have to look myself up. It's Nora.
media?
Uh, gosh. It is. Hold on. I think it's Nora underscore McLellan. Let me
I
see if
think
I
you're
can.
right. I think that's right.
It's yes, Nora Nora underscore McLellan. Um, it says human actor.
You actor. Well, accurate.
I try.
Nora, thank you so much. Let's do this again. If you come back for season 5, maybe we can talk again.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I'd
That'd be
love
lovely,
that.
Michael. What a pleasure.
All right, hold on one second. Oh, I love Nora. Emily and I, when we started watching Son of a Critch, and I had heard about it, and I walked through the living room and she was watching it, and I was like, "Oh, what's this?" And she says, "Son of a Critch." And I was like, "You need to stop watching that because I want to watch it with you." She was only on the first episode, and we absolutely loved it. But as soon as Nora came on the screen, we're like, "Ah, that's the one. Nora's the one." She's amazing. Just a really fun, talented, good actress and a good person. You could tell she's terrific. Um, we interviewed Colton Gobo. Let's see, that was just a couple of days ago, and he was amazing, just terrific. I'm so excited to talk with Sophia. She comes on week after next. I'm on vacation next week, and then when I get back, we'll have Sophia on. So if you're a fan of Son of a Critch, keep watching because I'll keep trying. I definitely want to get Mark on. I want Malcolm, and well, the rest of the cast. I'm working on them. So, and it's a big cast. So yeah, it takes me a little while to name everybody, but I'm working on them. So if you're a fan, keep watching. We'll keep trying to have more of them on. I'd love to do if they have season 5, and I'm pretty sure they're going to. I'd love to get the whole cast on. Uh, if you're a fan of panel interviews, I've got some experience with those. We've done a couple dozen or so of those, and cast interviews, and they're a blast. They're a lot of fun. I'd love to get this cast together. I think that would just be terrific. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. We'll see. I think we talked about everything that I wanted to touch on. She did an episode of Saving Hope, which, if I remember right, was Erica Durant's from. She played Lois Lane on Smallville. That was her next big show, I think, was Saving Hope. But she did an episode of that, and I think the rest of them we touched on. Love Son of a Critch. Revival seems really good. If you're looking for a sci-fi show, it's everybody that had died just suddenly comes back to life, and they're exactly the same. So then there's a murder, and you've got living and undead suspects for the murder. So it's interesting. It's kind of trippy. It reminded me there was I think it was a Swedish show. It may have been French, where they had a group of people that had died came back, and they came back 5 years later, and they were the same age as when they died, but everybody that had kept living was 5 years older. So it was kind of interesting. So you'd have kids that had passed, and they were the older sibling, and then they come back and they're the same age as when they passed, but the younger sibling is now older than they are. It was fun show, and then they did a U.S. version of it that was also pretty good. But it Revival kind of reminds me of those, and I'm blanking on the names. I'm sure you guys know, but yeah, pretty good show. Nora's terrific. If you're finding us for the first time, I'm so happy that you're here. And I think I've got good news for you. Maybe not. You can tell me. You watched the episode. So if you made it this far, maybe I've got good news for you. So if you go to our website, meistercon.com, we've got over 1,000 episodes on there, audio and video versions. We've been doing this. It'll be 7 years in January. We typically put out 4 episodes a week. So you kind of do the math. We're over 1,000 on there. So meistercon.com, please check us out there. Our YouTube channel is MeisterCon Pod. Please subscribe. It really helps us out. Doesn't cost you anything, but it's so important for us to keep bringing these terrific guests on the show. Thank you guys so much. Till next time. Bye, everybody.